Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Efrat from Jerusalem. Thank you again for keeping this vigil with us, all of us. Things are so dynamic and changed by the hour here. Yesterday, Helen Utait and me were talking and consulting what to bring today, and it is not relevant anymore. It is, but it's not the highest priority. So I will bring two things to an event that happened here. The first one is the intent of Netanyahu to fire the chief of Israeli security agency, which supposed to resign by himself because of the 7th of October. But Netanyahu's move now has to do probably with the investigation that the agency security opened towards this suspicion that there was some cooperation between Qatar and very close people to Netanyahu in his office and bringing the money to Hamas that really gave them the all weapons and they had. So it is another move of Netanyahu's, let's say, program to fire everyone who against his um, move to actually destroy the Israeli democracy. It is a real and dangerous and a threat for the Israeli democracy. We wait to see. There are some very big demonstration planning for Wednesday. We will see where it will take us. The second one, which is also has to do with this, is the gap between the government and the people, which get deeper and deeper. The government are making maybe, it seems like this, a new operation to start again the war in Gaza, while the most of the people are supporting those who are against the war, and of course the family of the hostages. There is a big demonstration tent, a lot of people brought tent and stay with their families. It starts in Tel Aviv. Tens of thousands of people are already coming there. So we'll see where all of this will take us. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God, Efrat. Hard to keep track. Hard to keep track in what is happening inside the country, inside Israel. It's hard to keep track what is happening around Israel, Palestine. We're in constant movement. Um, the Middle Eastern countries are trying very hard to reconfigurate themselves in the midst of this chaos. How can it be done? There's no coherence. And there's so much so much violence, especially in the areas where in the regions where battles are going on the local and the regional levels. Just mentioning a few areas, like for instance, in Syria, there's a huge eruption of violence with massacres of civilians from religious minorities and divisions in the country, which is still raw from civil war. Um, we really don't understand who is leading there, what is trying to be done. Like, for instance, only the last week, about 12,000 Alawites fled from Syria to Lebanon. And in Lebanon, this new government that is trying to reconstruct the country's national identity. Also, in such an ambiance, trying to free itself from the grip of Hezbollah and having to suffer the Israeli bombings and the bombings of the strongholds of Hezbollah there in Lebanon and destroying villages. And of course, creating a humanitarian condition among the Lebanese people. In Yemen, there's an escalation, as probably in the United States you hear strongly of the military attacks with the United States, and not to talk of Gaza that is continuing to suffer and try to survive Israel's blockade. And there's much more. It is hard to keep track. It is hard also to think of it. Living in the area is quite an experience, as far as I am concerned, and also many others. Trying to hold as wide a picture as we are capable of, and doing our best to stand as islands of coherence in our lives and in our service work. And thank you for being part of it.
Yeah, and thank you again, the two of you. Of course, trying to make sense, trying to contain or discern what is happening week after week, you also become sensitive, sensitized, vulnerable to all these influences. It's a fine line to tread, to expose ourselves to this without going down with it, and here to link with everyone here in the Middle East Vigil is a huge help to somehow contain this and still keep our bearings. So yes, very much gratitude to everyone. So let us begin our weekly work, settling into our body. Into our inner place, silent place. Feel for a moment the pulse of our heart. And bringing now our awareness into the center of the head. Being the conscious soul incarnate. And coming together now in the group heart, standing together in the will to love, the will to love. Joining our minds into a unified telepathic field. And we enter into communion with all other soul-guided servers around the planet. This planetary group, planetary network. And now also with the higher co-workers who guide this work. And we take our stand as a circle of wise elders at the midway point between the higher forces and humanity. And as we take this stand, let us blend will and love and light in preparation for our work. And now let us tune into the psychic field of the Middle East, this planetary vortex of great intensity. Standing steady at the midway point, just tuning into this field, observing the mental aspect of it, the mental forces at play, which are a chaotic mixture of global, regional, and local forces, pushing against each other, mighty collective thought forms and many different interests, pushing, colliding, fluctuating constantly, and see how this mental friction influences, stirs the emotional forces, causing them intense activity, reactivity, survival instincts being constantly on alarm, fostering this atmosphere of mistrust and fear, which turns so easily into physical violence at any moment. So from our midway point, let us observe and contain this volatile situation with discernment and wise love, just holding it for a moment. Like a steady force, helping those who live there, releasing all judging, recognizing that the local population in this solar plexus cauldron is just playing out unredeemed human patterns, decade after decade. Just having these different roles, Muslims, Jews, Sunnis, Shiites, Syrians, Palestinians, and so on. All these racial and religious and national identities, each traumatized and struggling so much to survive that there's no capacity to grant the same right to others. Let's stay another moment with this huge intensity. And now lifting our eyes from the midway point upwards towards the divine plan, towards the intended design for the Middle East. Just sensing its vibration, even if we may not have a clear picture of it. What is trying to work itself out here? What quality? Just sensing it, asking help from our higher co-workers to help us sense it, feel it. Holding the vibration of this intended design and letting it gain substance in our group awareness. Through our awareness, lending substance to it. The vibration of the intended design. And bringing it now into relation with the condition on the ground. Bringing these two different vibrations into relation. Sensing a magnetic flow being set up between them. Like energies flowing between two poles. See and sense a shaft of pure golden white light, broad and brilliant, flood West Asia. See a huge column of light pouring through all planes. Hold this column steady in the will to peace. See soul light flooding the mental sphere of the Middle East. Envision the mental forces in the area aligning to an inclusive soul vision, the only place where they really can align. Every human life is sacred. Every human being has a role to play. And we need to help each other play it. So that harmony can come out of conflict. Let us hold this fact, offer it into the mental space of the Middle East. We need all puzzle pieces playing their part. See soul light pouring down into the astral plane of the Middle East, touching hearts with grace, soothing, healing, gently pointing towards tolerance and temperance. Pointing towards a way back to trust. Trust in basic human goodness. And see the light pouring further down into the etheric physical plane, penetrating into the earth, working into these old separative patterns still lingering there. And we call upon the higher forces to help with disintegrating and dissolving them, being done with them already. And may we play our part, transforming conflict into creative tension, harmonizing our lives, raising the focus from the solar plexus friction to heart resonance. Each such effort makes a difference. And sharing this with our fellow human beings throughout the world and anchoring it in the Middle East through the sound of the great invocation in Hebrew and in Arabic.
מנקודת האור אשר בדעת אל, יזרום האור אל דעת האדם. ירד האור על פני האדמה. מנקודת האהבה אשר בלב האל, תזרום האהבה אל לבבות אנוש. ישוב מורה עולם על פני האדמה. מהמרכז שבו נודע רצון האל, תנחה תכלית את רצונות אדם. תכלית אותה מורי האנושות יודעים, משרתים. מהמרכז אשר נקרא המין האנושי, שם תוכנית האהבה והאור, ויחתם הפתח אל הרע. יהי רצון, ויחדשו אור אהבה ועוצמה, את התוכנית על פני האדמה. אמן.
من نقطة النور في العقل الإلهي ليشع النور في عقول الناس وليهبط النور إلى الأرض. من نقطة الحب في القلب الإلهي ليتسرب الحب لقلوب الناس لينتشر الحب إلى الأرض. من المركز الذي تعرف منها إرادة الله لتقود الغاية إرادة الناس البسيطة، تلك الغاية والتي يدركها المعلمون ويخدمونها. من المركز الذي ندون بالجنس البشري لينتج تسمين الحب والنور وليرفع حجاب الانفصال، ليجدد النور والحب والقوة التسمين على الأرض. الله أمين. Oh.